Diddy's bail has been denied for the third time as Judge Aon Subban ruled that he poses a threat to witnesses and society. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, is furious over the decision, which highlights the severity of the allegations and the reported use of intimidation tactics to pressure witnesses.
It's released right on Thanksgiving Eve, right at the end of the day on Wednesday. It reads, "The court has evaluated each of the factors that it must consider under the relevant law. 1, nature and circumstances of the offense charged. 2, weight of the evidence against the person. 3, history and characteristics of the person. And 4, nature and seriousness of the danger that would be posed by the person's release." And it also says that the court has also reviewed the information submitted by Combs and the government across all 3 bail hearings in this case. As you remember, Sean Combs was denied bail both by a magistrate judge and a district court judge. Judge Subramanian writes, "The court finds that the government has shown by clear and convincing evidence," so that's the standard, "that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community." In support of this finding, the court provides the following.
Diddy's history of witness tampering has been well documented, so it's no surprise his bail was denied, even after offering $50 million. The details of his bond package are shocking, as he had already surrendered his passport. However, given his status, the possibility of multiple secret passports couldn't be ruled out. With allegations of attempting to contact witnesses already against him, the court was never going to allow a high-profile figure like him to walk free.
We're going to put together the proposed bail package. A $50 million bond, co-signed by him, his mom, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. It's going to be secured by the equity in his property in Miami, Florida. Home detention, his passport will be surrendered. The government said that's insufficient. They said, look at the charges, look at the weight of the evidence that I just mentioned. They said they have allegations that he and his associates were trying to tamper with witness testimony last year so that they wouldn't cooperate with the government. What do you take away about who has the stronger argument in terms of bail?
Well, I think his counsel has done the best they possibly can. I think bringing him there voluntarily is very smart, starts them out on the right foot. But I think the last thing that you just mentioned, the interfering with witnesses.
That's the allegation, yeah.
Yeah, if that's true, or I should say, if there's real indicia that happened, I think that might tip the scales in favor of not letting him out pending trial, because I think, and you know this, I think judges take an extraordinarily dim view of that. And that might be the factor that tips the scale against him. But I think as far...
Diddy's attorney is working hard to paint him in a positive light, but the judges aren't convinced. This marks the 3rd time his bail has been denied, and he actually had a strong chance of securing it this time. However, just before the ruling, Diddy was allegedly caught once again trying to contact witnesses, this time using the prison's own phone system. Reports suggest he even exploited other inmates' phone privileges, which ultimately led to his exposure.
Can you come say a few words to the microphone?
I think that we made the points that we've been wanting to make. I think it came out. Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of the charges. There's nothing that the government said in their presentation today that changes anyone's mind about anything. We believe in him wholeheartedly. He didn't do these things. This was a 10-year relationship. There's no coercion. There's no crime. There's basically just, someone who brought a civil case and now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal case. And we're going to fight this case with everything we have, as is he. And eventually he's going to be shown to be innocent. And so tomorrow we fight again. And we'll fight every day until we don't have to fight anymore. I don't get into that stuff.
Even in previous bail hearings with different judges, Diddy has repeatedly shown the same predatory behavior seen today. With his trial set for May 2025, there is little chance the judge will allow him to walk free before then. This means Diddy will remain behind bars for the next few months, while his attorneys will likely attempt to file for bail again without new evidence. Convincing any judge to grant it will be an uphill battle. Diddy's attorney has reportedly interviewed over 49 witnesses set to testify against him, yet he insists the prosecution has no tapes, an outright lie. In reality, footage has already surfaced showing Kevin Hart, Diddy, and Usher standing next to a sex worker at one of Diddy's parties. If his legal team is this easily caught in falsehoods, securing bail seems nearly impossible.
It's one victim and 49 witnesses who saw this behavior. That's pretty powerful, though, to have that many people who have, if they go to court and argue that they witnessed this behavior by your client.
Well,
what's your defense against that?
So my defense is very well established. I interviewed myself, the different men who were being brought sort of into Mr. Combs and this person's intimate situation. I've flown around the country. I've interviewed a large number of them. There's not the slightest inkling, according to the interviews that I've done, of anything that's coercive, non-consensual. Nobody was too drunk. Nobody was too high. These were adults in a relationship. This is a 10-year relationship. You can't forget that. This is a 10-year relationship. And it was adults and consensual, and everybody who was there wanted to be there. So I feel very confident in our position.
You said you interviewed the men, but what about the women?
I haven't interviewed the one. The woman's not available to me. She's presumably a grand jury witness, and we would not. We cannot try to interview a grand jury witness.
You talked about. You said you're portraying this as adults who were at these events that wanted to be. I shouldn't even call them events. That's not certainly how anyone else would label it. But that they wanted to be there. But they also allege that they were recorded and essentially used as blackmail. Is that not true?
That's not true. That's not true.
How can you prove that when they have electronic evidence that, as they argue, over 90 cell phones, laptops, iCloud storage accounts, 30 electronic and storage devices, hard drives, thumb drives? Yeah. You're not worried about that?
No, because if they had it, they would have put it in the indictment.
Interestingly, some of Diddy's associates, including 50 Cent and Gone Deal, believe he will secure bail soon. 50 Cent even posted on Instagram, claiming Diddy's release was imminent, while Gone Deal suggested he might shock the world at the next hearing. Despite surrendering everything possible to qualify for bail, the latest ruling makes it clear there's nothing Diddy can do to convince the judges he's safe to release.
He might get bail. Now you're wondering why I'm saying that. See, they are trying to use some of the things that happen to criminals all the time, or inmates all the time. They always, brother, they always do those impromptu searches. And in one of the cases, in this particular case, they said that when they did the impromptu search, they took some of his legal information. And the judge ordered them to give that back. So I guess the lawyers are going to come up with a couple of new things saying that he can't properly, have his case be properly, what do you call it when they client get they client and lawyer privileges. He can't properly do his case with, you understand, with them constantly going into jail cells, searching him, taking his legal briefs, taking his information, and then probably using this against him. But I don't believe none of that to be true. I believe that they went in there just like they do all the other inmates based on the information they had. You got to realize this, bro. They found out that Diddy was using other inmates' phone cards. Now that probably happens all the time. You understand? And he got to be probably the smartest, dumbest person that I know, because he got to know that those phone calls are being taped. So whatever his lawyers and them come up with, the prosecution's gonna come up with something else. So the judge is gonna wanna know, well, what did they do, when they found out he was in violations of some of this stuff that he was doing? Did they charge him with something new? Did they take some of his privileges away? What has happened in the interim of him doing this stuff that they alleged that he done? So it's gonna be a whole forestry of next week, because what they did was they held off whatever the procedures was going to go down today. The judge said he going to revisit this next week. So I guess, I don't know if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll find out what's going on, but it's going to be something that I think it may shock the world.
Gene Deal has spoken at length about Diddy's bail situation and even predicted the outcome. He claimed to have court contacts who informed him that the judge had learned about Diddy's latest attempt at witness tampering. The more Diddy tries to secure his release, the harder it becomes for him to get bail. At this point, he may need to accept his fate and focus on preparing for trial. Additionally, allegations of arson and blackmail further highlight the extreme measures he's accused of using to silence victims.
Even when the feds caught them, they caught drugs on this person and drugs in his room, right? So now he goes in front of the first judge. The judge is like, yo, your lawyers can't handle you. You had plenty enough time to clean yourself up and start doing the right thing. So I can't give you bail. You sitting up here, you done made 100 and something calls to this one girl that could be a potential witness. They said that you done blew up somebody's car. What I look like giving you a bail? So now what people don't understand, why would their lawyer go to another judge? Which is crazy to me. They think another judge is gonna give them bail because they said, I'm gonna give you 50 million, 100 million, all like that. No, they not gonna fight against each other when none of your circumstances had changed the first time. Your first bail, you showed that you ain't do nothing, and you still had the ability to be threatening to witnesses. You still drugged out of your mind. And I think they said they may have found pink cocaine. I told you cocaine is a hell of a drug, bro. It done brought a lot of people down. A lot of people down. And I don't give a F, but I feel sorry for somebody I know that didn't use drugs. And now he losing his whole empire. And it's got to do with who he is as a person. But them drugs sure changed him and effed him up. Because he thought that those people was going to give him bail because he was rich. Nah, a lot of rich people still go to jail. Not like we do, but they still go to jail.
The calls Diddy made using other inmates' phone privileges were all recorded. making it shocking that he would take such a risk. This slip-up suggests he's feeling the pressure and beginning to make critical mistakes. Why else would he attempt something so reckless, especially just a day before his bail hearing decision? It's a clear sign that desperation is setting in.
He's trying to get in contact with witnesses. He gotta know they recorded the calls, right?
My man, in order to you to think that you could get away with doing any kind of witness tampering in prison, you gotta probably be one of the smartest, dumbest persons, because they take everything, bruh. Don't you know when he was using those other people's cards and their phone cards and everything like that, and they hear it, that person was like that. Hold up. That's supposed to be inmate 076. And Puff inmate number is 0666. Why is 0666 coming over on 0607? Why is Puff stuff coming over on his card? Hold up. Did he just say, take that, take that? Do I hear, bad boy, come out and play? They know his voice. And now for him to be giving people instructions to do things, like I say, he got to be one of the smartest dumb MS we know. So if they got him on there telling people to get in touch with people or tell people to stop, the guards are being closely monitored. Because it was said that he was on a cell phone. And I don't think you could have a cell phone in the Brooklyn House of Detention, the Brooklyn or the Manhattan House of Detention. I don't think you could have a cell phone. And I heard that he had a cell phone. He made some calls to some people. So they're gonna watch the guards closely, because if you remember with the Epstein case, and check this out, those two guards, they were supposed to be brought up on charges because they falsified records. You ain't heard nothing else about them.
Gone Deal has reportedly received calls and threats demanding he stop speaking about Diddy, with Diddy allegedly telling him that enough is enough. There are even rumors that a cease and desist order could be issued against him for exposing details about Diddy. Jaguar Wright previously received a similar order from Jay-Z, and the only reason Diddy hasn't taken the same legal route yet may be his attempt to appear harmless.
And you right about Diddy's phone being tapped, because news came out that his former bandmate from Dirty Money, she called the other group member Don 58 times trying to get her to stop the lawsuit against Diddy.
She ain't the only one he was trying to get in contact with. You understand? He sent somebody through somebody else to try to get in contact with me, telling me enough is enough. Oh, okay. You tell Big Mama that enough is enough. You can't tell Wolf Mama enough is enough. You tell D Ferg Mama enough is enough. You understand? You tell all those people who supported you and they survivors, enough is enough.
You didn't tell me about this. So he tried to get somebody to reach out to you?
No, I got a phone call from Kirk Burroughs. And Kirk Burroughs, and I ain't gonna give this guy no play. Not Kirk Burroughs, but one of the Puff dudes that I know that's real close to him said, Kirk told me, yo, he wanna reach out to you, Gene. He wanna speak to you. I said, speak to me for what? What do you want to speak to me for? If he's trying to speak to me, it's for Puff. Point blank. I know the dude. I know how close he is to Puff. He's been with Puff from day one. So he ain't got nothing to say to me, bro. But Kirk Burrow did say to me that the dude said enough is enough.
Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, has been caught in a series of lies. Just days after claiming there was no footage against Diddy, Courtney Burgess, a friend of Diddy's ex-wife, testified that he had not one but 8 separate freak-off tapes. These tapes were handed over to the FBI, and interestingly, some of them are reportedly circulating on the dark web. This only adds to the growing evidence against Diddy.
Statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know
Appeared
if
to
they
be.
were. Right.
Sure.
Appeared to
Let
be.
me rephrase
right,
it.
Based on, yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appeared to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all, to be honest, all.
Were victims
They
or
victims.
were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were all 8 were victimized,
Yeah.
meaning
Victim.
this was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it of they was doing.
Civil lawsuits have been filed against Diddy, and the lawyer handling these cases has made it clear he intends to expose everyone connected to him. With the potential for high-ranking politicians to be implicated, there's a strong likelihood Diddy will do whatever he can to either silence the victims or settle out of court. This tactic isn't new for him. He previously used it to resolve a $100 million lawsuit with Cassie.
Tend to name people in these lawsuits. We're not going to do it in interviews. We're not going to do it, without doing our due diligence, because obviously, these types of allegations are very hurtful to people if they're not true, and very hurtful, frankly, if they are true. But if they're true, you shouldn't have been in the room and you shouldn't have been participating. So I anticipate that we're going to start filing lawsuits, and it may not be big names at first, but we have a long list of names, and you might imagine in situations like this that when a victim tells us that this person was in the room or this person participated, we want to do as much due diligence as humanly possible before we file that case, because in the United States, in almost every state, public filings are in fact public, and when you name somebody in a lawsuit, the press is going to pick it up, and we're aware of that. So we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's, and I expect that there will be some people named in these lawsuits.
The details of the crimes Diddy is accused of are deeply disturbing and would likely horrify any jury. One of the grand jury witnesses is someone who was allegedly abused by Diddy, adding to the gravity of the case. The allegations include horrific claims such as rape, sexual assault facilitated by drugs, including tranquilizers, and the unauthorized distribution of recordings. Attorney Busby has highlighted that among the alleged victims, 25 were minors at the time, with some as young as 9 years old. If the case goes to trial, Diddy faces an incredibly difficult legal battle.
Friends he have, and nobody came out.
They brand. It's all about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know did nobody in America like that. So now, these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's something about the music, clothing, movies, they're not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs. that's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape, because if he had 250 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician. But they didn't think they was being watched. And Brother Love was watching.
Yeah, I mean, TD Jakes, he haven't even came out and said anything. And him and Diddy was real cool.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, man. And I know the people in the congregation over there is shaking in their boots because this man then led them probably, allegedly probably led them to damnation because those people's hearts are gonna be broken if that man is seen on those tapes doing anything. Because people always put their faith in the pastor instead of putting their faith in God. And what they need to do is understand that he's just a man. And he has a history. It's not looking too good for him.
So you feel like celebs are worried that they might be on tape?
Oh, they know. That's why they ain't speaking up or saying nothing. Yeah, I was at a Diddy party, but I know I ain't do nothing. When you don't know somebody's taping you, when you don't know that somebody is videoing you in some kind of form or fashion, you got that alcohol, you got the drugs in you, they're a little loose, bruh. They let down all their inhibitions. The music is pumping. He said it himself. He got it so hot in there that you gotta take your clothes off. He said that himself, bruh.